Larry Markkinen trade rumors are still piling in, but there has been new information revealed. Teams seeking Markkinen are still offering new deals as well as continuing aggressive negotiations. One mystery team was just revealed to be offering up to 3 first-round picks for the Jazz star. 3. Knowing Danny Ainge, he will most likely be asking for 4 minimum for his star, and until a team with draft capital and expendable assets, such as young valuable players, come up with a steep package, Markkinen will still be in Utah. And every day that passes, it seems more and more likely that Larry Markkinen will be a Utah Jazz for the long haul, given the reluctancy to trade him and the lack of pleasing packages. But if you are new to the channel, this is in case you missed it, the weekly recap where we recap everything that happened in the week of the NBA. Another Jazz player finds their name active on the trade market, and that player is Walker Kessler, as teams have heard about his availability and trade likelihood increasing more and more. Teams like the Knicks, Warriors, Magic, Hornets, Suns, Pelicans, Lakers, and the Grizzlies are all in on Kessler, as he is still on a rookie deal. Yet he provides elite defense already and can be the shot blocker and rebounder many teams need. However, again, the asking price from the Utah Jazz is too high. I would be hesitant to trade for Kessler if I was a contender, personally because the playoffs could be ugly for him on the offense, and we could be seeing a hack-a-shack. And that's just a limitation contenders really don't need to go through. I would also be reluctant to trade for Bones Hyland if I was a contender, likewise to Kessler, but for different reasons. Bones Hyland is reported to be potentially on the move again. When Bones left the Nuggets, it was due to lack of playtime, and his attitude became problematic. It is kind of the same case for him with the Clippers right now. We cannot doubt his scoring ability in the NBA, as we have seen him go off when he gets the chance to play limitation-free. Unfortunately for him, both teams he has been on are contenders, so he has not gotten the opportunity to play. It is reported that more contenders are interested in him, which does not make sense to me, as he would probably be heading towards the same issues again. The only teams that should and realistically could make a trade for Bones are the Magic, as they need a scorer, and the Nets. Any other team really does not seem ideal for them nor Bones. Given the fact that a lot of free agents have signed, Gary Trent Jr. is one of the more promising names and prominent names. Gary Trent is an amazing catch-and-shoot three-point shooter that will benefit any contender. The only problem is that he is commanding more money than realistically possible from those teams. He has almost reached his ceiling, and his ceiling isn't high to begin with at this point in his career. So him asking for the amount of money he is just does not make sense to me, as well as other GMs. If he's willing to take a pay cut, he will have no problem finding a new home, but until then his next destination is going to be up in the air. Contenders that are interested in bringing him in, or somewhat willing to, are the Magic, 76ers, Nuggets, Pelicans, Kings, and Lakers. The only thing about all those teams is they cannot afford him what he is asking for. Maybe if he were to take a pay cut like New York's hero Jalen Brunson did this week, which we're about to talk about, then maybe Gary Trent Jr. would find himself on a team already. Jalen Brunson agreed on a 4-year, $156.5 million contract extension with the New York Knicks this week, despite being eligible for a contract of $269 million next offseason. The reasoning behind this $133 million pay cut has been misleading. Sure, Brunson wants to keep the core together for the long haul, which was a major factor in this extension. But the single biggest reason for it is who they get rid of next offseason with a contingency plan if he does not perform well in the playoffs. New York Knicks fans have been adamant about trading Julius Randle away for 2 years now. The one problem they have had is trying to trade his hefty-ish contract. Next offseason, Randle will have a player option, and if he accepts it, he's a more expendable $28 million for 1 season rather than for 2+. If he declines, this frees up space for the Knicks to sign players that fit their system better in the front court, along with meshing with the core of the team in a positive way. Realistically, the Jalen Brunson contract will allow them to fix the Randle issue as soon as next season, which has been a dream of many Knicks fans. Moving on from Randle will allow for more depth as well as being able to add someone to complement Brunson. Brunson took this pay cut for more than to keep the team together for the long haul. He did it so he can get a new co-star on offense as soon as next season. That is something the media has not been able to identify, or at least they've been gatekeeping it. It's so obvious that many people are not seeing it clearly. moving away from $28 million in Randall next year and clearing up space in order to bring in a true offensive superstar to co-star. Sure, OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are great, but they're not legitimate number 2 options. Jalen Brunson made it easier for the Knicks to get a true number 2. And Jalen Brunson really showed his winning nature, though many players talk about being win first, but Brunson just gave up money to win. And as an NBA fan, it is exciting and heartwarming to see. Not so heartwarming for me, though. My Phoenix Suns, we gotta talk about them since they managed to piss me off yet again, as they became the first team in NBA history to surpass a $400 million payroll. Yet, we have not done much to get better. I would have been fine with this if we signed Kyle Lowry, as I've been pushing for us to get him all offseason and ever since he got traded to Charlotte and bought out. But the Suns decided to re-sign Josh Okogie to a $16 million deal for 2 years. I love Okogie, but I would have rather had Kyle Lowry than any other players we signed or re-signed. But that may just be me. And although we made some key additions, I won't lie, my Phoenix Suns playoff chances for 2025 are plummeting. I know paper doesn't mean anything, but on paper, I'm taking Minnesota, Denver, OKC, Dallas, Memphis, and New Orleans over them easily. And then Sacramento and both LA teams are right there in the same boat with us. That is 8 teams, and that does not include the teams that are quickly emerging, such as the Rockets and maybe even the Spurs. The Suns have their work cut out for them, and to be optimistic about their season is to believe Beal gets back to his all-star form, to believe that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker will stay healthy, and to believe that everything they have done this offseason makes them that much better than a team that gets swept in the first round. It's a very questionable way to look at things. I hope for the best with my team, but I'm not optimistic about them. Kyle Lowry re-signed with the 76ers, which was not surprising given his relationship to Philadelphia and Nick Nurse. He will be a perfect connector for the 76ers' Big Three, which is something Big Threes have lacked, so my optimism on Philly is steadily increasing. KJ Martin also re-signed with Philly this week. The Washington Wizards have been the most confusing team of the offseason, as they aced the NBA draft, but botched the trade market. But this week, they signed Saddiq Bey, and I like the signing a lot, as they needed a new wing to replace Denny, whom they stupidly traded. Not a bad move, and the performance we saw from Bub Carrington in his first Summer League game, combined with the defensive presence we saw from Sarr already, the Wizards' future as a good NBA team is looking to be promising for the first time in a while. Taj Gibson is still in the NBA, in case you forgot, and he signed with the Hornets this week to be the new locker room guy they desperately needed. As we all know, Hornets culture in recent years has been terrible. But speaking of the Hornets, I actually got other good news. Nick Smith Jr. in his first game looked like a brand new player. If he can break out and have a decent year and actually play in the NBA this year, hey, the Hornets are looking pretty good going forward. And then, of course, more Summer League talk. Reed Shepherd has been amazing. At his floor, he's going to be TJ McConnell with 3-point shooting, and that might start this year. I mean, he's going to be a perfect complementary piece for everybody in the backcourt in Houston, and I honestly could see him winning Rookie of the Year. He's probably the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, for being honest, since there's just no way he does not get good minutes. He's a great 3-point shooter. He does anything outside of scoring. He does everything on a basketball court, and I couldn't imagine him not getting a lot of play time for the Rockets this year, unless Ime Udoka completely screws the pooch there. But yeah, next week I'll discuss more about players in Summer League, but for now the sample size is too small to make clear and realistic takes on the majority of the players. So that is all I got for you this week on In Case You Missed It. If you want to watch last week's episode where we discussed the new rumors surrounding top 5 of the top level trade candidates, click on the screen on the video. Y'all stay safe. Have a good one. Bye.